Calvin Ford's right-hand man, Kenny Ellis, just said there will be no rematch for Ryan. Following the comments he said, Ryan spoke a whole load of stuff saying he's KKK. Let's bring George Floyd back to life and kill him again. N-word tirade. And as hurtful as what Ryan has said, I don't know if an outcry of black fighters blackballing Ryan will be enough to dissuade the power and greed of market forces, the bloodlust of boxing fans. Yeah, there's a lot of boxing fans saying, yeah, don't give Ryan a rematch. But I'm hearing a lot of fans, and I'm assuming some of them black, are saying, yeah, Tank needs to give him a beating, payback. So if Ryan does his year, and let's say Tank beats Shakur or Lomachenko, they will look to capitalize of the race aspect, to monetize, to make that fight. Even if Shakur wins, it could be Shakur, and it could be Devin as well. It's not necessarily a Tank, Ryan Garcia fight. Any of the African Americans around 135 or 140, the promoters and the networks will be looking to make that fight. Al Heyman, I don't think, will be listening to the concerns of a Kenny Ellis. You know, the money they'll be putting in front of Tank. If Kenny Ellis ain't on board, Tank will have to get another assistant coach. You know, you can go back to Johnson versus Jeffries. You can go back to Cooney versus Holmes and all them fights that Floyd had on Cinco de Mayo with Mexican or Latin fighters. That race ethnicity angle in American boxing will never die in our lifetimes. I'm not insensitive to what's been said, but let's not be naive here. Let's not be naive. Al Heyman will make that fight, and Golden Boy will make that fight.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
I said in the breakdown that if Artunian tried to box with Shakur, he could be in no man's land, and yeah, he threw a lot of feints, a lot of movements with his hands and his upper body, trying to commit Shakur to lead so he can counter. But, you know, he neither has the power or the speed to pull that off. But he tried it nonetheless. And Shakur just pot-shotted him with the quicker hands, which was punctuated in round 3 with that 1-2. It wasn't exciting, but it was very competent at this stage. Artunian needed to get up in his chest. That had to be the strategy. 4th round, they revved it up a little more. Artunian got more aggressive. Shakur stood right in the pocket with him. It was actually a very good round. Shakur, once again, just too fast and accurate. The 5th round was really good. He did say he was going to stop this guy pre-fight. And just before round 4, he told his Uncle Wally he's going to stop this guy. Shakur staying in the pocket. I've heard people say the fight was boring. I'm only looking at it now, giving you a punch-by-punch analysis. From what I've seen, he stood in the pocket. They both traded. Artunian threw some good body shots, some good head shots. But Shakur just too fast, way too fast. And there's been some good infighting from both men. Doesn't look boring to me, but we'll see if there's any validity to the complaints. Round 6. Now, a lot of people can't independently think for themselves. They will follow a popular media narrative about a fighter or about a fight, which doesn't fit the description of what actually happened. Because I watched in the 6th round, Shakur hit Artunian with a left to the body, a right hand. And now he's not just standing in the pocket, he's forcibly pushing my guy back. And Artunian is retreating, and not voluntarily retreating, around the ring. And he's getting hurt to the body. At this stage, Shakur's putting on a clinic. If this is boring boxing, I don't know what to say. If you say you're a boxing fan who knows what you're looking at, you know, you've done a little study, and it's not too hard on the internet to find out what punches are what and what moves are what, you should know that you're watching some quality boxing at this stage here. You should know that. But I haven't finished the fight, so we'll see. Apparently, the crowd were frustrated and some people walked out, so that's not good. Artunian is still in the fight, but he's not winning rounds. He's not winning rounds. And Shakur in the 7th showed some really nice defense with that shoulder roll. And the left-hand counters were just beautiful. It was beautiful stuff. Him not being a big puncher doesn't make him a boring fighter. He's definitely showing levels between himself and Tank's last title challenger, Frank Martin, who also fought Artunian, but had nowhere near the success that Shakur did. In fact, Frank scraped by Artunian controversially.
The short
Good
shot.
solid short shot combination.
You got to continue to get more consistent with that work.
Oh, there's the left hand to the body.
All right, he's on the track meet. He's the one with the track shoes now, right?
Artunian trying to survive Shakur here. Another body shot. Good combination from Stevenson.
The only quote-unquote runner, for want of a better way of putting it, was Artunian. He's running. He's in survival mode. At the end, towards the end of round 9, he starts throwing a few more punches because, as Tim Bradley says, he doesn't want to get stopped himself. So he's throwing just enough to give Shakur something to think about, but he's basically in survival mode. Shakur's picking off these beautiful left uppercuts, head, stomach, and dominates round 8, round 9. Round 10, 4-punch combination that includes a left straight down the pipe. Beautiful stuff. They're saying Shakur is neglecting his jab, but when he throws that piston-like right-hand jab to the body, Artunian doesn't like it. He's hurt again, and he's in survival mode. You see, Tank is going to come to win if they fight, and Lomachenko, they're going to come to win. They're not going to be in survival mode, and these are fights that Shakur can lose. But when he fights someone who's actually coming for it like that, who are going for the win, leave themselves a little open, then we'll get the chance to see how good Shakur is. We really will. I believe at 135 he can beat Lomachenko and Tank. That's my opinion. I've got this a shutout. Maybe the first round was even. The commentary team is saying that Artunian won the first round. I'm not sure about that. You know, if you're talking about aspects of the game like range control, there's no one better than this kid here. There's nobody better. The crowd booed. And maybe they actually thought that style of boxing was boring, which they're entitled to. But if we're talking about the science of boxing, I can definitely watch Shakur Stevenson. Artunian took a knee against Frank Martin. But aside from that, he stood right in the pocket with Frank Martin. He didn't do that with Shakur. And he barely won a round against Shakur. How come no one talks about Artunian was running, he disengaged from fighting and fought for survival? And it's hard for a fighter to put his punches together when someone is just looking to spoil. How come no one's pointing that out? But if it was Shakur moving excessively, we'd hear all about it. But nobody's pointing that out. That Artunian was spoiling in there. No one's pointing that out. And that's because subconsciously, they always want to paint the narrative that Shakur is the spoiler. And that's not true. Shakur stayed on the front foot for the majority of the fight. I don't know what some people are watching. Shakur has revealed that he turned down a $15 million 5-fight deal to resign with Top Rank, a guaranteed minimum purse of $3 million per fight, so he can instead become a free agent. A lot of people are saying he should have re-signed with Bob. But after what Bob said about Shakur not having no options, basically saying he's going to have to run back to Top Rank with his tail between his legs, what option has Shakur got? You know, he should pursue being a free agent. He should. Bob tried to screw up any Shakur Matchroom deal by revealing that Eddie said he's not going to pay Shakur what Top Rank were paying him. He was trying to tell Shakur, look, Eddie doesn't want to pay for you. You're worth nothing. You need to come back here. And that was a dirty move, not just on Shakur, but on Eddie Hearn as well. Oh, Shaky Foster lost his WBC Super Featherweight title to Robson CONCEICAO on a split decision on the card. A lot of people saying it's a robbery. Haven't seen it. A lot of lightweights were on display yesterday on Top Rank and one on Golden Boy. KEYSHAWN Davis won a 10-round decision over Miguel Mardueno. Haven't seen it. Saw a couple of minutes of it, but not enough to pass judgment. And Abdullah Mason, Top Rank prospect, he got a stoppage. And on the Golden Boy card, William ZEPEDA took out Giovanni Cabrera with body shots. See, like, no disrespect, right? But the Golden Boy card, I didn't even know it was on. And I could have watched that on the zone. I didn't even know it was on. Because ZEPEDA is fighting nondescript opposition. He turned down, I won't say ducked, he turned down the fight with Shakur. You can argue that Cabrera took Isaac Cruz to a split decision. But he's not as good as Shakur. And ZEPEDA Shakur is a better fight. We didn't get that. You know, you've got Shakur and KEYSHAWN on the same promotion, but they're not fighting each other. And they need to start mixing up and matching the fights out there across the pond. They really need to at 135, because it's getting boring. A lot of people are saying the top-ranked cards are boring. I thought I was the only one. A lot of people are saying the top-ranked cards are boring.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Boxing.
Beats and rhymes.
Reece Bellotti retained his British and Commonwealth super featherweight titles against Levi Giles, withstanding a late surge from Giles, where he seemed to have Reece Bellotti rocking and rolling. Giles looked like the harder puncher, but didn't do enough, didn't throw enough, and he came up short. Matchroom cruiserweight John Hedges won a technical decision over Lewis Oakford to retain his Southern Area title. Oakford came in there with no stoppages on his record, but he was giving Hedges some good work, and it was very evenly contested. Oakford bleeding out pretty badly from a cut eye in the 6th, and the technical decision went to John Hedges. Maisie Rose Courtney lost her unbeaten record to the Polish girl, Jasmina Zapakozna, on points. I remember the Polish girl based in England, Zapakozna, giving Shannon Ryan a pretty good fight on a Matchroom card recently. And I remember at the start of the fight where Maisie lost, thinking, if you're going to do that Tony Sims style, you need good head movement. You need to be quick and you need to know what you're doing. Just trying to walk people down like that. And she got outboxed, but it was a competitive fight. Maybe they'll have a rematch. Emmanuel Boutekeg, if that's how you pronounce it, another Matchroom fighter. He's been pretty busy recently. He put everything into the 6th round he had with Jerry Hawk. And despite being considerably bigger than Hawk, the import, couldn't really put a dent in him. But he won well, 6th round decision. He needs to stay busy, as all young fighters need to. And that includes Jimmy Sains, who got, in my opinion, a bit of a dubious 6th round stoppage win over Damien Lecoudre, who was giving him some good work, you know, especially inside, landing overhand rights and actually hitting Sains with both hands quite frequently. But Sains, coming off a stoppage victory last week on a top-tier promotion, although he's a Matchroom promoted fighter, he's probably benefited of, you know, getting an extra fight outside of Matchroom, keeping sharp. He managed to get on top of the fight in the 5th round. But, you know, the belt actually ended to end the 5th. And Lecoudre could have carried on. And the referee stopped it at the end of the round. It was a strange stoppage. But, you know, well done, Jimmy Sains. Stay busy. In the main event, Alan Babic, he dips to 12-2 after losing very early in the 1st round, 36 seconds into the 1st round against Johnny Fisher. Bosh, 12-0, 11 inside the distance. They're saying he sold upwards to, well, not him alone, you know, like Sainsy, old Sainsy, and a few of the other fighters, they sold tickets as well. Reece Bellotti is not a bad ticket seller. But upwards towards 7,000 people were in that copper box. Not bad at all for what was a regular 10-rounder main event. Fisher was always favourite to win this. I think people were more concerned how he was going to go about it. I don't think no one expected it to end that early. I certainly didn't. If this fight was supposed to provide answers, I would argue it's actually led to more questions. What level is Johnny Fisher? Can he win an English title? Let's say take on the winner of Solomon Dakers, the English champion, and David Adeleye. Is he ready for that? Eddie Hearn reckons that Johnny can beat the likes of Fraser Clark and Fabio Wardley. That's the British title. Now we're talking fringe world level. Is that where he is? The matchmaking is going to be very interesting because Eddie's saying this guy is ready to take on the world. I don't think they'll be able to pull off putting Dave Allen in as his next opponent. I really don't. Now his faithful fan base will turn up there in their thousands. But the critics, they'll be saying it doesn't add up. Eddie's saying this guy is world level, fringe world level, and Dave Allen is what? At this stage of his career?
Huh? What?
Got a few new subs, and I'm assuming a few of them were Johnny Fisher fans because they were covering the fight on the stream. And a few of them were saying that Johnny Fisher is going to be the next best thing on the back of beating Alan Babic. Yeah, getting excited. I have a feeling a lot of the Johnny Fisher fans who subbed probably going to hear this and they're going to unsub, pissed off because I'm not talking him up to be the next great thing in the heavyweight division, but I couldn't give a shit. He's got a lot to prove, a whole lot to prove. He can hit. Obviously he can hit. And he showed good hand speed to finish the job. Sylvester says Fisher could be a problem. Ooh. Hey, his hands look pretty fast though, the way he put that combination together. And I can see it already. As soon as a lot of Brits get a fighter they can get behind, scores a knockout, sells a few tickets and stuff, they go way, way, way over the top. Because more often than not, his fan base are not that deep into boxing, and they don't realize the levels that have to be achieved just to get where Tyson Fury or Anthony Joshua are, or even Daniel Dubois. A lot of the fan base just go way over the top. Anyone remember David Price? Eddie is going over the top, saying Johnny is a world-beating heavyweight. He's going over the top. But that's his job, is to promote. And look, I'm not saying he can't keep making improvements. I'm saying right now, beating Alan Babic doesn't warrant all this hype. But at the same time, he's doing them big gates. It's impossible to stop the hype. The train is moving.
But I actually truly believe he's a world-class heavyweight prospect. Like, he has all the attributes and fundamentals of what you need, right? Obviously youth, great. Speed, power, great chin, strong man, smart, learns, getting a top sparring. And, you know, you look at that domestic scene at the moment, sort of below the Furies and the AJs and the Dubois. I'll back him against all those boys. And there's so many great fights to make.
Fight started, Babic walked forward, hands up. Johnny kept a respectable distance, launched a couple of range-finding right hooks, and then the third one was followed up very quickly, and the fight was over. Could Babic have done anything to prevent that? I don't know. He didn't look capable of slipping the shots. Babic coming out of that crouch with the earmuffs on, he didn't look like he could see the punches, and Fisher took full advantage. It is what it is. The style matchup worked for one way more than it did the other. Simple as that. Fisher was the better man. Bigger and better man. Just need to see a bit more. That's what I'm saying. We need to see a bit more. But, yo, it's a great party. Bosh, it's a great party. I'm not here to spoil the party. Great to have a ticket seller. Spencer Fearon compared him to Billy Walker, who didn't even get to British title level. He lost to Henry Cooper, challenging for the British title. He lost eliminators to Jack Bodell. But he was hugely popular. Is he the next Billy Walker? Big up Billy Walker. He's still living. Still living today. Him and his brother George, who trained him, they made a fortune out of the game. And with that,
I'm gone. Ghost, peace, sayonara.